And now, coming to you live from the City of Angels, Los Angeles, California, it's the Sheena Metal Experience with your host, Sheena Metal.
Hi, and welcome to the Sheena Metal Experience, only on Parapod TV, where you can find us on the Roku channel, iHeartRadio, and more. I'm your host, Sheena Metal. I'm a psychic medium and an energetic healer. I'm an interfaith minister and a creative and a performing artist. I'm a 30-year talk radio host in Los Angeles and beyond. And I'm also a paranormal survivor. And I come to you live from my home in Southern California every Wednesday at 3 o'clock Pacific time. This show is about spirituality, it's about creativity, it's about humanity, it's about passion, it's about service, it's about becoming and then maintaining being your best you in this big, beautiful world, and then inspiring others to do the same. And it may be my show, it is the Sheena Metal Experience after all, but it is always and forever, without a doubt, your experience. Every week on the show, I have guests that I love and adore that I think are here to share their stories of personal transformation and bringing something beautiful to the world. So you'll get healing while hearing about their healing, which I love. My guests today are both beautiful spiritual beings and now working as spiritual practitioners. One is a hypnotherapist. I've known them both for a very long time. One has been on the show. The other, it's her first time on the show. So please welcome to the show my dear friends, Alejandro Escoto and Sandra Contreras. How are you both? It's wonderful to have you here. So good to have you.
Thank you.
Personal transformation, right? We talk about it all the time. And Alex, I think you've been here maybe 3, 4, 5 times with me, and then many times in previous incarnations of this show when it was radio only. It's so important, I think. Sometimes my clients will say to me in my own spiritual practice, when am I going to be done? I always say,
right?
I'd like to say when you die, but not even then, because then you come back and just keep going.
Right, and finish what you didn't finish.
It's all about continued growth, right? And as you grow, and as you follow your path, your life changes sometimes. And sometimes for a little and sometimes a lot. Yes. And that's completely okay, because as we evolve, we're also supposed to develop, right? And I think you're such an example of that, my friend. Alex and I met when we were both pastors, staff pastors I was a staff pastor at Founders MCC, and you were like the big cheese. And you very much have been a ministerial mentor to me. You've been a minister for so much of your life, and I'm just a baby minister in comparison. I know that 8 years ago, my life took a turn in opening my spiritual practice and sort of taking a step a little bit away from the entertainment industry. Yours now has done that, right? Where you've taken a little bit of a step away from traditional ministering and now have opened your spiritual practice. Yes. And I'm so excited for you, because I think this was the first place you announced it, right? When you came on the show.
Yes, and you were one of the people that affirmed what I was feeling. But I had to, as I said previously, and I'm not sure how many people remember or who even saw what had been going on, but I needed to take time away for myself so that I could rebalance, re-heal myself. Am I completely there? No, but the chaos that was present with a cyber attack, with a remodel that never got done, and my finances, chaos because of the cyber attack, everything is slowing down.
Nice.
Just enough for me to dialogue and rethink. And God blessed me with someone who I've been, speaking with, she sought me out,
Oh,
because of hypnotherapy. Um, and, and we clicked
Mm-hmm.
and we
Connection.
clicked. And when all this, when I was feeling this, I asked her, will you join me? Will you help me in this? Because I'm a Gemini. I'm like a butterfly.
right.
And and my thoughts are everywhere. And she is strategic. She is linear. I am not.
I am more
I
structured.
need someone like her.
Right. I always say if you
I
don't
mean,
like what
and,
Gemini's doing, wait 5 minutes.
and not just because, but
Right.
she is extremely gifted.
Yeah. I love that. And weirdly enough, because there are no accidents, I do a monthly spiritual service for Founders MCC called Saturday Night Spiritual, where Alejandro has spoken many times. And when we were in the sanctuary in the church, now we do it virtually to reach more of an international audience every month. But when we were in the church, Sandra was my technical director and ran the show. So when Alex today said that he was going to bring, they were going to bring Sandra, I was like, oh my God, how? Because I firmly believe, and I think this is very important to your own personal transformation. By your, I mean everybody's, right? That part of it is your soul family that you travel with. And Alex, from the day I met you, I felt very drawn to you always. I felt like you were my soul sibling, like the first time that I met you. And I still feel like that, only stronger now. And Sandra, I felt so drawn to you the first time I met you. So the fact that you're both working together and we're all here, to me, is just proof that there are no accidents, that we're here. It's a teaching planet. We're here to learn. We're here to teach. And those of us that choose to take that path of teaching, we sort of all somehow belong in each other's lives. It's like encountering your soul family again here. I didn't even know the two. I mean, obviously I knew, Sandra, you probably knew who Alejandro was because he was Reverend Alejandro, but I did not know the two of you were friends, nor did I know you had really anything to do with each other. So
She was also shy.
Still am. Yeah. No, I sought him out because I was telling him, well, a while ago, about 3 years ago, 3.5 years ago, I started going through a series of just obstacles, personal, financial, and all that stuff. And so I needed guidance because I just felt extremely lost. I didn't know what direction to take. So Alex was very open about everything, and that was shocking to me a little bit. But
she's like so closed, and I'm like, wow.
Yes, we're the opposites, but it works. It works. So that's why I asked for help, and I'm not that type of person. I like to solve my stuff personally, and he was very open to helping and assisting me through those challenges. And since the first day, the first meeting we did click, and we're here. Yeah.
I love that. Isn't that is so fantastic? It's interesting, right? How I was just talking to a client literally right before I came here today about this, that just when you think there's no more work to do, there's more work to do. And we're constantly growing. We're constantly changing. We're constantly evolving and becoming more enlightened. Hopefully we're on that path. But for me, that's the Christ path, right? Is to always be walking, growing, learning, changing, and affecting those around us and encouraging them to as well. Like I say at the beginning of the show, right? Becoming and then maintaining being your best self and then inspiring others to do the same. I mean, I think that's the whole reason that we're here. Oftentimes, I think, and I found this with my own clients, when a client finds a teacher or a healer or a practitioner or a counselor that they feel really good with, sometimes they realize that they too are a healer, and they begin their own journey of then helping other people. And I think that's so beautiful. It's kind of like teach a man to fish, right? And you're, as a healer, we should be inspiring others to to grow and to change and to be their best selves, so that maybe they will decide, wow, I have some things to teach others. So I see in the two of you this relationship that is friendship, that is also student and teacher, that now is two practitioners working together. But had you not found Alejandro, Sandra, you might not have decided to kind of what I like to call come out of the psychic closet and work on your own gifts, right? I mean, it's
Exactly.
because we have a choice every day whether we're going to get our stuff together and share it with the world or whether we're not. I mean, it's a free will planet. We're allowed to do whatever we want. To me, the most beautiful thing is when somebody comes out of that cocoon and becomes the butterfly and then decides to share their beauty with everybody. And then other little larvae go, oh, I'm going to crawl into my cocoon and I'll come out and be a butterfly too. I mean, I think I'm so happy for you both. I'm so proud of you both. And I always knew, Alejandro, and you know this because we talked about this on and off the air. The first time I met you, I was like, you know what? There's more than just minister to this human. There's a magic little, you know, I always looked at you and saw a little crystal ball spinning. I'm like, there's a and now that you are like, when I saw on Facebook that you were open and out and it opened your practice, I'm like, oh my God, I felt so proud, like a big psychic mama.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. You know, before I became involved with the church, you know, I had left the Catholic Church because of the shame and the guilt I felt because of my homosexuality, even though I did not fully understand it. But I attended every kind of religion that was not Christian. I went to temples, I went to mosques, you name it, right? You know, half naked under the full moon. I mean, somebody could be listening that, you know, and so, and so when I re-embraced the church and became ordained, my partner then, who we're still very good friends, he told me, you've got to put away your tarot cards. You've got to put away all of this brujeria, you know, all of this witchery, because you know your community. You know, that's what he told me. You know, and it's interesting because our community, the Hispanic community, they'll be the first to go to a botanica. You know, they'll be the first to go to a botanica. You know, and get, you know, from a curandero or a bruja, you know, and then go to their priest when they realize they screwed things up by making a pact with La Santa Muerte, you know?
Right. Well, I was just going to say the Latin community, right? Much like my beloved Irish roots, my Irish community, it's mass at 9 and the psychic at 11.
Thank you.
Get up in the morning and you go to the mass and you present in front of everyone and you love it because you love the Jesus and all the stuff like I do. But then at 11 o'clock, you're like, I'm going to stop at the psychic on the way home and get a little something, or I'm going to stop over at the White Witch's house and figure out what you got going on.
And they talk about it, right?
Yes.
They talk about it. I had worked for a year. This was, gosh, I'm maybe 2007, 2006, 7. I worked for a year at a doctor's office in Van Nuys providing hypnotherapy. And the doctors they could not understand why is it that the botanica around the corner, his patients would go there. Yeah. They would not get medication because it was too expensive probably, or the stigma having to take pills for whatever. So they'd go to the botanica to get, special candles and something to drink and oils. And God forbid they saw me, because then they were crazy, And so in that year, my greatest challenge was heterosexual men who were afraid to close their eyes and relax because this gay hypnotherapist, who knows what he might do when they're passed out, And so it was such a struggle with them, Now,
You
for
had
women,
you had me at straight white guys.
you know, so they
I think
claim.
we could just say that all of us on the earth have had the most problems with straight
Yeah.
white guys.
You know, but straight, I mean, these married women, woo, how I helped them.
Yeah.
I empowered many of these women who were undergoing battery and violence and stuff. And I'm not going to say the chain, but the wife of one of the leading markets, huge market, she wanted to leave her husband because he had girlfriends. She was not allowed to have anything. You know, he gave her all the money, but she said, "I'm tired of it," and I helped her through it, and she got half of that. So that market chain, you know, she had half of it is hers.
Yeah, you're magic. Sandra, how about you? What's your spiritual background? Like what has been some of your path of getting to where you are now? And were you ever reticent to talk about your beliefs that were outside of the Christian box?
Oh yeah, for sure. I like to think of myself as a spiritualist with training wheels still on.
Nice. Nice.
Still, I'm in the, I would think in the beginning stages of whatever it is I'm trying to unfold, because there's just a lot of areas that I'm really interested in. And I think our bond, I look at him as a brother and a mentor, and I feel like he's going to lead me, hopefully, in the right path. Lately, like I said, 3.5 years ago, you know, I started going through all these obstacles, and I feel like that was the beginning of my awakening, spiritual awakening, I would say. A lot of traumatic events, a lot of deaths. So I think that pushed me into more of a spiritual path, more, I started meditating more, praying more, wanting to know more about Jesus, wanting to know more about the universe, you know, Earth, Mother Earth. I don't know. It just opened up this
Absolutely.
world. So I'm trying to navigate, see where to go, what path to take, how I could help myself, and in return help others. One of the things a recent thing that an idea popped in my head is, and I told Alejandro this, I'm going back to school for my master's. I want to become a registered dietitian, because I want to help myself, you know, with nutrition, get better, get stronger, and then in you know, return help others as well with their nutrition, because there is such a big problem, especially in our community, with diabetes, with cancer, a lot of ailments. So in that sense, I want to help our community, but on the spiritual path, I'm still learning. I'm trying to figure it out, trying to see how I could help others. So yeah, so I have my training wheels on. I don't know which path to take. Yeah.
I think anything that you're doing, whether you're a doctor or a nurse or a therapist or a teacher or a nutritionist or a dietitian or a pharmacist, or I think if you use your spiritual gifts in what you do, it just gives you sort of a leg up on that. Because I think we're all of us that are aware, that have had our spiritual awakenings, right? We're all relating to people on a 3-dimensional plane and a 5-dimensional plane at the same time. So if you have a conversation with somebody, I mean, even as I interview people, right, you're receiving obviously your ears and your eyes are receiving the 3D messages, and your solar plexus chakra is receiving the 5D messages. And anybody who's awake and aware, no matter what you do for a living, that's how you're relating to people. I think that is especially helpful when you're in some kind of a career where your work is helping others.
Yes.
Because you can sort of figure out what's going on with them. And I think that's so important. And actually healing them as you are, Sandra, giving them suggestions for how to change their dietary habits, you're also can be throwing a little healing into them to help heal them at the same time. You know, a little good juju in the pancreas never hurts. I often feel like I could use a little good juju in my pancreas. So
You know, give me that jujube. I remember I studied Qigong for a few years, and that was the result of some weight that I had gained because of the HIV. And you know, and Qigong is very much like Tai Chi, you know, very slow movements, actually slower, you know, and there are some Qigong exercises where you may move, but it's all focused on the elements, you know, fire, earth, water, air, and an incredible healing happened in my life. I lost weight. People were amazed. My doctor was amazed at how much weight I lost. My doctor had said, "Well, what diet is this?" I said, "I have a coffee." And my doctor was
your hat. You're gonna freak out when I tell you.
I know. No, I did become anemic, but other than that, everything was perfect. Who needs anemia? No, I mean, it's red blood cells. And so
we now know that the Qigong robs you of your iron. Fantastic for everything else.
Yeah, and so I use all of these tools. You know, Qigong is the flow of energy according to traditional Chinese medicine. And energy, when it becomes stagnant, in theory, creates illness. Much like Reiki. You know, Reiki focuses on the transmission of energy, you know, and if the energy is stagnant, there's illness. The chakras, if the chakras are not vibrant and alive and transmitting good energy, you know, illness. And so when we're able to motivate that change, even in conversation, just to get people thinking, you know, I meet so many guys, where I'm living at through you know, through certain apps, which will remain nameless, but you know, and so the beauty of it is sometimes I meet them and all of a sudden I'm spewing out words and they're like, "How do you know this?"
Right.
And there begins a beautiful relationship.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, it's true. Because I think that one of the basic things on the earth that human beings want and need is for somebody to really see them.
Yes.
And we see like the picture of the spiritual practitioner, right? Is that sort of psychic TV show psychic where, oh, you know, I'm in the grocery store and I run up to somebody and say, "Oh, your grandma wants to talk to you." I've always felt that to be so invasive. Like, I'm not going to run up to somebody where we're tapping on watermelons and start talking to them about how grandma has a message or they shouldn't have married the person they're with. But I do find that oftentimes when I'm at a party or a social situation with someone, I'll sit down next to somebody and I can feel that they need something. And my mom used to do this because my mom never actually came out except to me and a couple of my friends as a psychic. She would just do it in this really bizarre way where she would be, you know, doing the dishes. And one of my friends from high school would come sit on the kitchen counter next to her. And then afterwards they'd say, "I don't know what your mom did, but she just changed my life." And so my mom was a Scorpio, you know, so everything was a secret. So it was all done secret. But I learned a lot from her about how you can sit down next to somebody that you feel needs help. And you can just have a little conversation with them and listen to them and make them feel seen and heard. And you don't have to necessarily, you know, "Oh, here's my big prediction from spirit." You can just say some things to them that move them and change them. And I find even with my clients, I do that. I mean, I think when you sit in a session with me, you don't even necessarily know that you're in a psychic session because I'm not like throwing all these weird predictions out. My eyes aren't rolling back in my head. It's a conversation. I'm not shaking and the shutters aren't slamming. Like, it's not,
I love when that happens.
It's about moving people in this like really organic way so they don't become resistant.
Yes.
to the message that's being given to them, right?
Yes. This one young man had told me, everything you've told me is a response to what you already know because I told you. And then I tell him, well, remember when we first met? I knew nothing about you. And I said all of this. And then he's like, well, true. And then the second time we met, I asked you, have you sold your soul to the devil? And he said no. And then most recently, he confessed that he made a pact with La Santa Muerte.
Oh,
And so, in our conversations, in our dealings, he now wants to make change.
right.
And he tells me the other day, she's mad at me, referring to La Santa Muerte. And I have had so far about a dozen interactions with people who are trying to break that pact. And I tell them, you're in for a rough ride. And I said, all I can do is protect you. I tell them, all I can do is protect you, because, that's why the hacking happened.
Yeah. Now this show's going in a totally different direction. Okay, here we go. So one of the places where, and I've had the same thing happen with clients, right? Where I don't know what's wrong with my life. I don't know why my life isn't moving anywhere. I don't understand what's happening. Oh, I went to this person and I did this black magic thing so that my boyfriend's ex-girlfriend would drop dead. I'm like, okay, now you have totally screwed your life. And you have to find a way to bring the light in. I don't say to them like you've totally screwed your life, but I'm saying it that way on the show for all y'all that are watching. Now you've got to find a way to fill some darkness with light and make that up, because that was not a good idea. And I don't ever understand why people think it's a good. I mean, I get why they think it's a good idea. Everyone wants a shortcut. Right. Everybody wants to be able to go somewhere and someone's going to fix everything for them and, give them everything they want, whether they should have it or not. I understand. But darkness is real. And one of the places where I part in the woods with a lot of my new age friends is that they believe, the only darkness is what you create for yourself. And I always say, well, it must be nice to live in Candyland, but that is not where we live. We live on a free will planet where there is darkness and there is light.
Yes.
And unfortunately, we have the ability to tap into either side if we want. And some people sit on the fence morally and they want the quick fix, and darkness is whispering at them that the quick fix is X, Y, and Z, and they take it. And then they come to me, or they come to you, Alex, or they come to you, Sandra, with a life that is now destroyed.
Right.
Yeah.
And they don't know why. And I don't say that to scare people. I say it to tell people, you got to be careful, because you don't know what's out there, and you have to be careful with how you align yourself, because it's not good. And I see it all the time. I see people doing crazy stuff and aligning in certain ways. And I clear houses for people where someone's been in there practicing black magic, and it's a scary thing. And so let me ask you, I know your answer, Alejandro, because you just basically said, but Sandra, do you believe in darkness?
Yes, I do. I like you just said, I do believe that there is light and evil in this world, and there's no going around it. There's soda can.
What was that? That was a light.
There's a light.
You guys having a paranormal experience over there?
With my Coke Zero.
Fantastic. Yeah, you have to be careful, right? That you have to make sure that you always walk in the light. And it's not like one day you're going to slip on a banana peel and be in the darkness. Like you have to make an effort to do that. You have to go and seek it out.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it amazes me sometimes that clients will come to me, first-time clients, and they don't tend to last with me. And they'll start asking me, well, will you, because, it's no secret that I'm a witch, and I I'll do spells to make the world better, raise the vibration of everything, or for people's healing or their animal companions healing. People come to me and say, oh, what can you do to make my ex-boyfriend likes this girl. Let's make her really sick. And I'm like, oh no, let's never do that. I'm never doing that. And you never should either, because people think for some reason that's a good idea. And I think that when you have a spiritual practice, and I'm sure Alejandro, you can agree, sometimes you're picking up the pieces of people whose lives have been destroyed by those decisions.
Yes.
And it takes them 5, 10, 20 years to find a way to get right on the track again. So do you see that? Have you seen that more than once, Alejandro?
Oh, I see it a lot. I've had people ask me very similar to what they have asked you, and I always tell them I harm no one. Now, I can send out energy to make that person, distance from you, but I harm no one. Because and working with someone to make someone go away, however the method, that also comes back to us, even though we may do a spell of protection around us, because there's always a crack in the door somewhere.
Yes.
That when we're not looking, when we're not ready, when we are tired or ailing, it will get us.
Yes. And that's the thing. You think you're being so smart by going to whatever dark practitioner and doing a spell for this, or this. But the truth is, when you channel, even if it's not you doing the spell, when you commission that kind of darkness to be engaged, there is a backlash. It's like if you shoot a gun, the gun kicks back and you get gunpowder on you. If you put that kind of negativity out there, there is a backlash of darkness that will come around like a boomerang and smack you. It may also harm the person that you've commissioned someone to harm, but it's also going to come back and mess with your life, because darkness is not satisfied with just one life. It'll come back and mess with yours too. Now, on the other side of that, on a positive note, if you shoot the gun of light, then light comes back at you. I had this healer many, many years ago gave me the most beautiful expression. I swear I say it every day. When you give a healing, you get a healing. So every time you're doing a healing, or you're doing a white light prayer, that light is also coming back at you. It's helping the person that you're praying for, and it's also coming back and helping you. But when you do it with darkness, the same thing happens. So it's not like you can just, put a little darkness in an envelope and send it off and you never see it again. And then their lives are destroyed, and sometimes more destroyed than the person there's life they're trying to destroy. Because they're the initiator. They're harnessing the darkness, and they're inadvertently keeping it close to them.
Well, what goes to China always comes back.
Whatever you put out, whatever you put out comes right back to you.
And you have to karma, definitely. We have karma, which is the exchange of energy, and we always want that energy good and clean. And to follow dharma, the cycle of life. Things have to take their own time, and even though we may want to speed things up, and we may have had a help in that, well, that also comes back.
100%. Yeah, and that's another thing that's very frustrating, right, for folks, is they come to you and they want things fixed, and they want answers, and they want everything to get fixed right away. By January, I want to be out of debt, have a house, and be married. And it's like September. I'm like, okay, well, the universe doesn't give a hoot about your timeline.
Thank
you. The universe
you.
has their own timeline, and the universe cares about the universe's timeline. And sometimes it's all about doing the work and waiting for it, right? Waiting for it to come, and also continuing to participate in your own transformation. Continuing to participate in your own healing and your own evolvement and enlightenment. It's not like you just put a nickel in a slot machine and it all comes back to you. It's work. And even as healers and practitioners, right? The three of us, we're working on ourselves every day because we have to work harder because we also need to help other people learn how to heal.
Yeah, because if we don't have what it takes to help others, then they will drain us.
Oh,
Right.
Yeah, for sure. I've had to learn a couple of protection spells, routines, prayers.
Yes.
Because it's very easy for me. I don't know about you, but it's easy for me to just be drained of people's energy.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm an energy vampire. I take it.
Yes.
Once I'm in a crowded room, I'm awake. I'm like,
I'll take it.
Well, you are a Gemini. You had me at Gemini.
yeah.
Yeah, I see, and I take in everyone's pain and suffering, and I've had to learn that I don't need to be an energy hoarder, and I don't need to take. It's like I don't go down the street and pick up everyone's trash and put it in my yard. I don't need to pick up everybody's unhappy, sad, miserable, dark energy and take it from them. I mean, I do as a healer, but then I need to learn where to discard it. And that's the thing. If you're going to be a healer, you're going to take people's pain, take their problems, take their darkness, then you have to learn how to immediately get rid of it. Somebody who comes to your house and cleans your house, they don't keep all the dust and stuff from your house at their home. Like they clean your house, they put the stuff in a trash bag and they throw it out. They're not like at home with all the dust bunnies from your vacuum cleaner everywhere. But energetically, we do that. Like we go in and we clean someone's house energetically, their body, their living environment, their psyche, their soul. And then we don't know how to get rid of it. So as empaths, it just builds up and up and up and up. And that's I think, Sandra, you're talking about having to do the protection prayers. A lot of that is being an empath, right? And taking everything in through your solar plexus chakra. It's very hard to know how to not do that.
Yeah, but I started also noticing that before I started doing the protection prayers, I would really get drained physically and started just feeling sick. And out of nowhere, until my cousin, who is a Reiki healer as well, she said, you need to protect yourself because you're carrying exactly what you just said, a lot of people's negative vibes, and it just sticks with you. And so, ever since she told me that, I have been doing the protection spells and stuff.
Good. And it helps, right? It helps you feel lighter almost instantly.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm. I do a lot of at night on YouTube. I listen to a lot of those frequencies, and I meditate in respect to whatever the frequency is. And I'll tell myself like one that I've been listening to is concentrate more, stay focused, and like, my cognitive mind is focused. I am clear-headed.
Yeah, 100%. I'm very much about.
I am a Capricorn, so I hear them like I'm focused. I'm sharp. I'm there.
That's it, right? Yeah, that's it. You're gonna play. A Capricorn's gonna play that same noise every 5 minutes for 50 years. Don't mess with me.
That's true.
I'm never gonna not play this again.
Because it works. It works, and I'm staying here.
Whereas the Gemini's like, oh, I love this squirrel. Okay, I love this other one now. I meditated to it 2 times. I've mastered it. I'm on to the next. Fantastic. Yeah, but that's good. Like frequencies are amazing. So many things work. I'm all about. I moved back to my childhood home 2 years ago, and it's on an Indian burial ground. Like for real, there were wetlands. This was part of the wetlands. They threw some sand down and put a housing track on it. It's very much like Poltergeist. We try not to talk about it.
I was about to say.
So I was nervous to move here because I lived in a very negative haunted house when I was growing up outside of Baltimore. And I don't want to live in a house like that again. I didn't like how active this house was when I lived here when I was young. So I'm in love with salt lamps. I have so many. I think in this room alone, I probably have like 6 or 8 salt lamps. I have so many salt lamps in every room. And I also have a lot of selenite and black tourmaline to kind of scrub the environment and pull out the negativity. The selenite is a scrub. The black tourmaline sucks in negativity. And then I got to tell you, I live with a cat, and that little devil keeps things so balanced. Like you would never even know he does his magic. He's the sweetest little guy, but man, he is walking around the perimeter of this house consistently. And I know he is just chasing ghosts away and pulling negative things out of things. And he earns his whiskas, temptations, and kibble.
Good.
He's paying his rent.
He has the most expensive self-cleaning cat box. I'm like, man, you worked for this. You worked for the very expensive cat food that's more expensive. You worked for this.
That's right.
He's everything. And every once in a while, he's like, you know, he likes to get up here and hug me like this. And I see him looking over my shoulder and stuff. And I'm like, oh, honey, mommy doesn't want to know. You keep that. Mommy doesn't want to know what bizarre burial ground entity has walked through the foyer. No, thank you. But you can, no matter what your environment is, you can keep it clear, and you can keep yourself clear. And there are wonderful white light protection prayers and barrier prayers and different things that you can do to make sure that you're not the victim of every celestial Tom, Dick, and Harry all the time. You don't have to be. You can live a healthy life no matter what kind of crazy energetic stuff is going on around you. And maybe the worst of all the energetic stuff, right? The stuff that comes from humans.
Yes.
Yes.
You ain't lying there.
Ooh, I take a scary pack of ghosts any day over one day.
You know, one of my prayers, every time I'm driving, I say faithfully, hand of God, protect me from all harm, that I may be free from pain.
Beautiful.
Angels of God, surround me. Angels of God, accompany me. Angels of God, protect me. And Saint Michael, I invite you into my life. Protect me. You know, and I said it for so many years that I believe it. I feel it. When people are with me in the car, they're like, you know, they feel the change. I was already sweating. I'm like,
that's it. People like, but we're just going to a dinner party. You're like, I don't care. I'm bringing St. Michael.
I'm bringing a whole crew.
I don't care if I have to see somebody at a gas station. I'm bringing Archangel Michael with me.
That's right. That's
right. There is something to be said for that. That's yes. And this is the thing that's so beautiful, right? Is there are all these things in the universe. There's archangels. There's other angelics. There's our spirit guides, our guiding spirits that are people we loved that pass and choose to stay and protect us. There's source energy, God, spirit itself, and all this beautiful stuff that we just can call on whenever we want for protection. It's like 50 hotlines. You can just pick the phone up and call when you need something.
Yes.
And it makes me sad when people feel alone on the earth, because it's people that make you feel that way, that alone.
Definitely.
Animals don't do that. Spirit's not doing that. The universe isn't doing that. It's people that make you feel alone. But you're never alone because you're surrounded by a multitude of spiritual beings and energies and help all the time. And they're just here to help you on your journey so you grow, because universe wants us all to succeed. They don't want any of us to die and they have to be like, D-. Like, they don't want that. They want us all to have a fantastic life and then get to elevate to the next life and come back and do it again. They want us to graduate from every semester of soul school. They don't want us to fail. So all these tools are here for us, and we just have to tap into them and use them. But I don't think we're taught that. Like, Sandra, is that kind of a new concept? Because obviously that's not something that in indoctrined religions we're taught as kids, right?
Right. No, yeah. I've recently also discovered in meditation, which shocked me because I've never had experienced anything like that. I was sitting in a park by myself, you know, talking to the trees, talking to the squirrels, And
Nice.
just sitting there by myself, meditating. I closed my eyes within, I would say, less than 5 minutes. Everything, all the noises shut off, and all I could hear was the trees, just whistling. Just nature. Nature was extremely loud, and the traffic and people around, everything just shut off. That was amazing. That was amazing. So I've had a few experiences like that, and I always run to him. I'm like, oh my God, look what I got to tell you what happened, because all of this is new to me. And as a child, when I was about from like maybe 7 to 9, I would hear stuff. I would hear noises. And I would, I didn't know what it was, so I got scared. And as I, grew up being in the Catholic religion, you got to shut that off. So I didn't really pay any attention to it until, adulthood. And now recently, I started tapping into more of the spiritual, I don't know what would you say, spirituality I started tapping into. And I don't know. I just feel like I opened like a can of worms or something, because there's a lot of stuff happening, and I'm writing everything down, and I'm, telling him about it, and it's just, I'm excited. I'm really excited.
I'm excited for her too.
I'm so excited for you to just be having the awakening now. How exciting. It's like how you look at kids going to prom and you think, oh God, I remember how exciting that was. I feel that way for somebody who's just having their spiritual awakening too. Everything is fresh and new and fantastic and scary and wonderful and awful. And it's just such a magic time.
And it's not scary to me anymore. Not like before. Now I'm just like, I want more. I want more.
Yay! I always want more. I love that. So how are you two? What is the dynamic when you two are working together? What is the two of you being here representing a mutual healing entity, and what does that look like?
Well, she most recently we've been talking about past lives. Now, some months ago, she had asked, maybe one day we could do a past life thing. I was like, oh, I would love to. I said, let me take you deep under and see who you were, right? Well, as we were chatting the other day, I ended the text with, love you, sis. And then I sent another text. I just got goosebumps.
Oh, yeah.
And I told her, I feel that you were probably my sister. Yeah. Or someone very similar to, and her spirit team will tell Alex, okay, he's got to do this, because I know my mind, I know my spirit,
right?
And so, I need direction at times. Sure. Now, one of my best friends many years ago, we realized through a regression that he and I had been traveling for thousands of years.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. Soul tribe, right? Soul tribe.
Yeah. And so, in one meditation, I saw myself on top of what looked like a hill, a lot of music, I could smell food, a lot of noise. People were, just a lot of chatter. There were also sacrifices, and so I remember someone handing me a cup, and I raised the cup up, and then eagles flying past.
Oh, okay.
So I was sharing this with my friend Federico, who has passed. He passed some years ago, and he interrupted me and said, and he finished the meditation for me. He had fallen asleep and fell into a trance and had the same experience that I did.
Okay.
And so then he would receive messages from angels. So he asked the angels, what does this mean? And he was told that he was my chief priest. I was the public face, right? But he was the one who would counsel me until he was no longer needed. And I was okay. And then of course, he was afraid to die because he was human, but he had to pass on. And so then I felt that with Sandra.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause Sandra, most recently, here and there's like, well, how about trying this? Or I think you should do this. Or they told me.
Yeah, we were talking about, he has a book idea, and we were just discussing, random ideas, and he started talking about a book idea, and I felt like I went into a trance, and I just started telling him the book title. I started telling him how to go, the structure, and
It was wonderful.
it was a good, at least 5 minutes of that until I snapped out of it. I'm like, I don't know who said this. This doesn't sound like me, but
It was
so awesome.
Let's go with it.
That's
It
wonderful.
was awesome.
Yeah,
and so I embraced that, and so I get that feeling. I was like, okay, so
Something's happening.
so how many
Stay
lives
tuned.
have we been? Freddie? No. Federico, is that you?
I could have been
Oh,
there in
that's
that session.
I love that. Well, and that's what messages from spirit, right? As practitioners, we should be passing them back and forth to each other so that we all rise up, right? I mean, that's the idea, so that we all can help more people.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So beautiful. I'm so proud of you too, and I'm so thrilled to have you here. Where can people find you online and get a healing or anything you're offering, hypnotherapy, and then let's come back and do this again. I would love it.
Yes, definitely. They can find me on Facebook, Alejandro Escoto. And they can send me a message and I'll give them my phone number. And
I'm not ready.
they can find me
At Alejandro Escoto.
I'm Sandra.
Oh,
Don't find me yet. I'm not even here. I wasn't even on the show. You guys didn't even see me. I don't even know any of you. Sheena who? I don't even know what's happening right now.
So
let your viewers know, that let's say the first 13 people that send you a message, Sheena,
Yeah.
I will send them a free rosary.
Nice. Do I get a rosary for having you on the show? I do collect.
Yeah, so 13 people, that send you a message, and then you can get their, their information, and then and I will send them a free rosary. Did I give you one, Sheena?
No.
Well, I will give you one. So your number.
Oh, I thought I had to wait.
So 13 more.
I thought I had to wait till 13 people signed up, and then I got a rosary.
Perfect,
I'm
too.
like, oh, Alejandro's run a little spiritual pyramid thing here, where I have to solicit. Help me earn my rosary. I love you guys so much. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Alejandro Escoto, my spiritual tribe and family. Thank you so much. I wish you all the best of everything. If you missed any of the links for them, go to sheenametalspiritual.com. Also, you can find me on social media everywhere at Sheena Metal. That's Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and X, formerly Twitter. And of course, if you just want to stay in touch, send me a text message. I'll literally give you my cell phone number right now. 818-437-0886. It's this, 818-437-0886. Thank you so much to Parapod TV and its owner and operator, my dear friend Tony Sweet, for allowing us to be part of his television family. And to my engineer and producer, Emery, thank you, my friend. You are the wind beneath my wings. Talk about a brother I never thought I'd get. You are a delight and a gift. And until I see you next time, seek peace, live in love, lead with kindness, embrace unity, always work to raise your vibration. And most importantly, know that you are love and you are loved, and you're so loved by me. I'm Sheena Metal. This is the Sheena Metal Experience, only on Parapod TV. We'll see you next Wednesday at 3 o'clock Pacific time. And until then, have a great week. Be lovely. Stay beautiful. I love you. Namaste. you.